I don't even know where to start with this. So I just paid Adobe for a whole new year of service. And I know they've got like a bad culture. Everybody hates Adobe. I get it. But I've been using their software for 20 years. My desktop, it's covered in the icons. I use their programs for pretty much everything. I'm recording this with Adobe right now. And, I've made good stuff with it. And the price is really good. So I actually went back to Adobe Animate because Toon Boom is so expensive now. So I've been drafting in Adobe Animate, and then only when I'm ready to finish stuff will I pay the exorbitant amount for a month of Toon Boom to try cram everything in and get it done. But so I just paid the subscription fee, and I get this email, by the way, no more Adobe Animate next month. I'm super sick right now. So I'm really sick. I'm getting over this horrible cold. Adobe sent me an email first saying, oh, by the way, now the suite costs $800 a year. And then I get an email a couple weeks later, oh, by the way, no more Adobe Animate. What's next? Everything is going to be AI now? Like, what else do you want to do to me? What do you want from me? I mean, I learned from these programs. Anyone in my age bracket, we grew up on shitty Flash animations. So it's just sort of shocking to think that all of that stuff, all of this my life's work is now going to be inaccessible. I mean, I've already gone through, I guess I'm lucky that I already started archiving everything. Started going through all my old Flash files and compiling them into finished videos, even if I didn't finish them, and putting them into the vault so that people can get to that old stuff, especially because, the internet, things get deleted, people decide to privatize their videos, things get lost. So I've been getting all of my work together in a location where it's not going to get lost. Funny enough, a couple of those include these horrible rants, which I never end up posting, but this one I'm going to post this rant because this is just such a huge downside of subscription software service that when something happens to the company or it gets bought out or it just doesn't want to keep up with the software anymore, all of the projects are suddenly inaccessible. You don't own it. It can all just go away at any time. I have so many feelings right now. I sound humored, but I'm so angry. I had a great class on this software. I taught people how to animate with Adobe Animate. It was such an affordable, high-quality program to learn to animate in. And I guess everything's just changed now. There's different open source stuff that people are using. And it'll change again. It's the art environment is always changing. But I guess I'm not even that old, but I'm old enough to see the industry crumble out from beneath me. And it's such a cruddy thing to live through. I mean, it's probably not any different from when, we stopped using pen and paper animation and started switching everything to digital. And now everything is switching from a permanent digital to an impermanent digital, where the access to the tools is restricted by how much money you can pay per month, rather than just saying, I'm going to buy this set of software and then I'll be able to use it throughout my career for as long as I want. I mean, I suppose you could program your own. No, you can't even, it's not even realistic to say you could program your own because it's so complicated. The things are so complicated now that to have a tool pulled out from under you just destroys your whole workflow, especially if you're, you're an advanced animator or you've been doing this a long time. The workflow is what makes the work possible. So I guess now what? What do we do? What should we be animating with? What are you guys animating with right now that isn't Toon Boom? Clip Studio Paint is something I was kind of looking into. What are you using right now? Tell me. Because clearly I'm going to have to learn a different program. And it needs to be able to handle, an audio track and a music track. And, not just little tiny GIFs. I want to be able to make films. And so, yeah, of course Toon Boom can do it. But Toon Boom is $100 a month. So that's not something a student or even an indie studio can't afford that. You kidding me? Like, if you look at the money, the income, the revenue that an indie animation brings in, it's not paying for, you're going to make $100 a month. It's not reasonable. I guess Blender's the other one, but I'm talking 2D animation. What are you using to do 2D animation right now? Let me know, because clearly I'm going to have to learn something else and probably teach it too. Surely there's a realistic solution here. Just make it open source. What could Adobe do to not be evil here? Like, evil is, okay, you know what, discontinuing the program, here's your advance notice, and we're pulling the whole program, you'll never be able to open anything from it ever again. That's not reasonable. That's not reasonable, especially not from such a big company. So if Adobe was not going to be evil in this case, say, okay, we're not going to do Adobe Animate anymore. We're not going to offer advanced animation solutions. I mean, they have After Effects. Yes, After Effects, fantastic program, but it doesn't do what Adobe Animate does. They don't, and Adobe Express, like, I haven't touched that, but I'm pretty sure. That's for, like, little things, right? We're trying to make, if we want to actually draw, we want to actually draw and animate the drawings. So, funny enough, Photoshop can do it a little bit, but no, we want our audio timeline, and we want our drawings, and we want to be able to animate. So if you discontinue Adobe Animate, the least evil way to do that would be to say, and here is some, whatever, here's like the flesh and bones, so you can still open your project, or here's an open source thing, or here is something, rather than just taking it away completely. I mean, how hard is it to just, I legitimately don't know. How hard is it to just leave the outdated version of Adobe Animate available in the depths of the cloud for those of us who want to use it? Does it take a lot is it expensive to do that? Does it take a lot of server space? I mean, you've got this huge app ecosystem. It's probably some kind of security risk, right? Like, having an app that isn't continually updated is some kind of security risk, I guess. And that's the only reason that you can't do it? Could you offer it as like a standalone download somewhere else to prevent the security risk? I don't know. It just seems like there's a better solution here, but the company doesn't want to spend money or resources on allowing their application to continue existing in a unupdated form. So they're just going to pull support completely and be like, screw you guys. So yeah, I guess the recommendations from the artist side seem to be, hey, make this open source so that we can still use it. Or on my end, just leave, make it so that we can use the app and just don't update it anymore. I don't see a problem with that. Like, we don't need the continual updates. Just be like, yep, this is the version. If it's buggy, it's buggy. The end, Well, I guess the long story short is that a lot of us are now looking for a better tool in the same price range. So, Toon Boom is a fantastic tool, but it is incredibly expensive and therefore not really a good option for anyone other. I mean, they got too good. Now they're the professional solution. So now their major clients are studios who have a lot of money, right? So where does that leave the rest of us? Like, people who just make stuff on the internet. Like, indie developers. We're making indie films that aren't going to make any money. It's all just funded by donations. Where does that leave us? What should we be animating in? I know people listening, you'll have an answer. So I currently do not have it, and I would like to learn from you what I should be doing. So at the moment, I'm kind of inclined to think it's going to be Clip Studio Paint, but I'm not entirely sure, because at the moment, I'm emotional, and I would rather just, say, screw it, I'm going back to pen and paper. You can't subscription service me out of pen and paper. You can't stop me. You're not going to stop me from drawing. So, this is going to be it, isn't it? Yep, I'm finally being forced, the old alligator being pushed into the pond, even though they don't want to go. I wanted to stay sunning on the rocks that I knew, but no, you're going to put me in the water and make me do a bunch of swimming. Fine, I get it.